And welcome back. The time is just about 14 minutes moving away from the 10 o'clock hour, and we're into Voices for Today. And today I'm going to, I'm going to do it kind of a half and half. It's up to you. If there's something you feel you want to vent, something you feel you want to elucidate, then feel free to call. The numbers are 466-0989, 662-0989, 762-0989. In the UK, 033-344-0065. In the US of A, 718-285-6984. In Canada, 305-921-4619. Now, here's what I'm going to do for today on my part, apart from if you want to call in and discuss anything, interject any point that you feel is vital to our discussion. Yes, you feel free to do so. I'm trying to open up something here because what I'm going to do today is recently we had the let me see here. We had the AG here, and he had a bit of an interview with myself and Cortencia. And what I'm going to do today is sort of a playback bits of that interview, and so that you can hear what the discussion was about. We can sort of refresh your memory, rehash, and do a bit of an analysis as to a bit of an analysis as to what was said, and you can come to your own conclusion as to what you garner from that discussion, or what you understood from that bit of a debate. What the clips that I play will be, any part of a clip that I play will be in its entirety, which means from the moment you hear it start to the time that it ends, no editing, can't be doing that. So you'll be hearing it just the way it took place. And then when that clip is done, maybe have a bit of a discussion. And then when I play the next clip, from the time you hear that clip start, again, it will be from the moment it starts to the moment it ends, and another unedited excerpt or piece from our recent discussion. I think this is important because it is good to sort of refresh our memories as to what was said and get a gist of what the system and the Attorney General is thinking in terms of moving forward. So I'm going to play for you this first clip, and it deals with, as the farmers were here, I told the farmer that we had a brief discussion in relation to agriculture, and so here's what the AG said in regards to, very brief, but I think still of importance.
I was listening in the car coming down. I believe that St. Kitts and Nevis is independent. Okay. I think.
But what does independence, you being a
freedom to make your own decisions?
But then, as we were discussing, sometimes it seems like we can't make our own decisions.
There's always geopolitical pressure. Let's look at this trade war that's happening.
Yeah.
Some countries purchase more than others. So if you purchase a lot from another country, there's some geopolitical pressure you can put on that other country to negotiate a trade deal. Mm-hmm. That's the reality of the globalized world we live in. That wasn't a reality 150 years ago. But I've never gone and begged in any international rooms. I understand what you meant. You know, sometimes what you meant is that it's not necessarily two equal partners negotiating. Yeah. So if it's not two equal partners negotiating, are you asking or are you begging? I understand the point.
Well, I tried to explain it.
Yeah. No, I understand. I got that from you, but okay. I'm just telling you that St. Kitts and Nevis is well respected in the international community. We're tiny. We're the smallest, the least populous independent nation in the Western Hemisphere. However, we're well known. Yeah. You know, so when we go into international fora, I had a meeting yesterday
let me interject, because I'm going to ask you if it is. I'm not going to refute what you said, because that is your feeling.
Exactly.
If it is that we are independent, we are truly independent. I'm going to use agriculture as an example. Why is it that the monkey has been such a big problem and we cannot seem to find a way? And I'm going to put that on the system itself, on the parliamentarian. It seems as if though you all are hesitant and finding ways to compromise as opposed to finding ways to cull.
Well, there is a culling program within the Ministry of Agriculture. I actually remember reviewing the contract.
Yes.
I have, in my 3 years in office, I have not felt or seen any pressure from any international communities about the monkeys. I have not seen that raise its head at all.
But I'm a farmer. I do farming. And the monkeys are a problem. We cannot.
The monkeys are a serious problem.
We cannot, you can't go anything above the ground. Citrus, they come and they come in droves, right?
I'll give you the
can't
example.
put anything under the ground.
During COVID, we set up a kitchen garden, and I had melons. And I was so happy the melons were growing. I was ready to pick them. And one of them was nice and big and juicy. And I picked it up, and the back of it was bitten out.
That's what they do.
And they frustrated us. The only thing they didn't eat was the eggplants.
So the question then, Mr. AG, is how do we appease that in a way that, you see, it's about perception. The people feel nothing is being done,
Yes,
and we want to be able to feed ourselves.
Understood.
So
and we have to feed ourselves, because that's
yes.
one of the things we spoke to the children
Yes.
about, the primary schoolers and the high schoolers.
Yes.
To be truly, yes, I see what you mean.
And there you had it. And it's good to hear the AG acknowledge that, yes, to be truly independent, it means that you have to be self-sufficient, right? And he also acknowledged that, yes, there is a monkey problem. One of the important things that he said, though, was that he said in his time there, in the past 3 years, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he has not heard any queries, any directives coming from any external force in terms of what we do internally in relation or as it regards agriculture. So that was very interesting to me, because occasionally when I heard the Minister of Agriculture speak, he would occasionally say things like, well, we have to be very careful that we don't get people, coming and putting pressure on us. We can't just go and eradicate the monkeys. We're not saying, we the people aren't saying you expect you to go and just willy-nilly just start decimating the monkeys, but we expect you to do enough so that the monkeys get the message that we want to push agriculture in this country. And so hearing the AG make that statement, it was very, very, very good, because then that statement suggests that no one is putting pressure on how you run your internal affairs in terms of agriculture. So then why aren't you moving towards culling and making sure the monkeys are not so much of a pest? Good day, caller.
Yeah, good morning, Quint.
Yes. Well, I know you're going to want to go on a different tangent, so go ahead.
Well, I must say, Quint, I'm listening you on YouTube, because you're not transmitting in my area, so there's a bit of a delay. So I don't know what you said before I catch you on YouTube. But, I just want to quickly go back to what I was saying this morning about those leaders' speech in the United Nations. Quint,
Before you go ahead, in what area do you reside?
Challengers.
Challengers.
Yeah, and it's been a while, Quint. I can't catch this station on radio.
Challengers?
Bloody Point.
Okay. That would be the transmitter. We put a transmitter up, and there was a time when you were catching us, right?
Yes, that was quite almost a year and a half now, or maybe more.
Okay, so then I don't understand that. What I know is that we put up a transmitter at the Atlas level, but it is not as high as it should be in terms of the antenna. The transmitter is there, but the antenna needs to go up higher. But there's some things that has to be hashed out with in terms of placing it on a high mass. But in the next few days, we should be putting back on that transmitter because when electricity goes in that vicinity, it tends to go down and we have to go back up. And Atlas is kind of a hazardous and it's not. It's a rugged terrain, so you don't just go up there when you feel like. But we should be getting that up. I cannot say whether you in Challengers might be able to get it, but I know when we hash out that thing about putting the antenna where we would like it to be, high up, well elevated on a mast, that should not be a problem, okay?
All right.
Go ahead.
Well, to get up at Atlas right now, it might be a bit wet because
Yeah.
we're getting some rain in that
Okay.
area.
So
But
you
quick,
so
quick,
so
quick.
you know something about the terrain. Go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. What I find interesting, Clint, is like, I listen to Emmanuel Macron and I refer to him. I mean, it's not just him alone because, Emmanuel Macron is what the Bible speaks about, called, so the devil is like a roaring lion. And it's not just him alone, Clint, because, you see, this is their culture. This is all they know. They only know how to lie, steal, hate, kill, and destroy. I mean, let us call it for what it is. Because, Quint, they have had enough time to vindicate themselves. But it is in the scripture, as they said, let this sin be on us and on our generation unborn. I was having a discussion with a friend of mine, and I asked the question, can we alter what the book claims as prophecy? Can we alter what the book claims as prophecy, Quint? Yes, we can. Because the writers of the book is the God in the book. Let me repeat this, Quint. The writers of the book is the God in the book. You and I are God's, Quint. I mean, there's so much thing that we can take from it. Like, for instance, and Quint, I know you might say I'm being repetitive, but I have to, because I want to send a message out there to the listeners, our people. If you were to write the word of God, Quint, would you write, slaves be obedient to your master, because this is their culture? And the very fact that they gave us a deity that they call God, and they gave us fear, and we never stopped to look at all the killing in the book that was done by God. The God in the book. Well, God is man, and man is God. Man is the devil, and the devil is man. That's my message to our people, Quint. Let us look at the cart that is in front of the horse. Because when I listen to these leaders, Quint, they are not going to relent because they want to maintain. They want to maintain. But we as a people now, we swallow the whole misery that they gave us. And that is why we are being controlled. And not only that, Quint, the mind of the oppressor is in our politicians. The mind of our oppressor is trapped in the body of our politician. And note, I am referring to them as politicians, Quint, who are going along to get along. They're not leading us anywhere. And we have to move away from that. The universe and the earth is calling for that clarion call right now, Quint. Are we going to just continue to be asleep? I want our leaders to echo their voices and lend their support to what is happening on the continent. Because when I said earlier this week, Quint, that what is going on in Europe and America, they are going to leave. Mostly those who are wealthy. And where are they going to go, Quint? When they flock the continent of Africa, what does that mean for us? because they're not going to give up, Quint. It is either them or us in their eyes. Well, we have to start to see things as our reality, our realization, Quint, because it is the clarion call for us to become and take our rightful place on this planet, Quint. I'll leave it there, Quint.
Okay, thanks for your input. And the time is just about 29 minutes moving away from the 10 o'clock hour. Let me take a bit of a commercial break. And when I get back, I'll get right back into playing the second clip as it relates to our recent chit-chat with the Attorney General.
Found the sound 99.9 winnfm.
Rams the good food people, always there to serve you. Rams the good food people, locations right near you. Rams the good food people, in-store specials for you. Rams the good food people, Rams. When you need better service, Rams is always here. Better value, better prices, Rams is always here. We want your loyalty, Rams is always here. We are community, we are family. We are family. Rams for you and me. We are community. Rams for you and me.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust to secure your investment. You need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
And I'm right back with you. The time 10:32, and without any delay, let's get back into our conversation, our recent conversation, myself and Hortensia, with the Attorney General, who graced us with his presence, and it was a bit of a very enlightening conversation between us. I want to get to mainly to the specific reason for your being here. I was told it was to explain the special sustainability zone
Authorization
bill.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, the station has been asking me to come on for a little while, but I was busy, so I took the opportunity on the invitation to come, and I realized that there's a lot of chatter about this act, which is now law. 99.9% of it is inaccurate. So I just came to clarify for the general public. That is my duty as Attorney General. Quint, I don't know if you are on social media, but when laws are passed, typically within the next few weeks after, I prepare a very short, concise summary of all the laws that have been passed.
Yeah.
We're at 83 or 84 to date, since Parliament was.
Where on social media can one find out?
I put it on my Instagram. I put it on my Facebook. Yes, I know young people use other. I do post videos on TikTok. My comms team has prepared video clips of the summaries of the laws so people can understand. Because I believe you can't just, as a parliamentarian, especially my role as Attorney General, just go into Parliament, support laws, and not explain to the people. And I know that it has had some traction, because people stop me sometimes and say, thank you, I didn't understand what that law was. I read the summary, now I understand. Because we have a very rigorous parliamentary agenda, as you can tell. So I felt like they needed to bring it down so everybody can understand. I have not done that yet because it's been hectic in the last few weeks, and we've been doing a lot leading up to independence. But I plan to put pen to paper, and I do it myself to summarize the law. But I want people to understand what it is. I have a friend who have a lot of political debates with, and I think I messaged him last evening because he made a public post, and I said, "Did you read the bill? Because what you're saying about the bill is the actual opposite of what it is." So I just wanted to go through with it, Quint, just to clarify. So can I do this, if you would allow me to, Hortensia and Quint, by asking some questions first to set the stage, because everything has context. Are you aware as to what special economic zones are?
I think that you being the Attorney General, you should...
No, I talk about around the world.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So a lot of people don't. So they are frequent throughout the world. Some of them have been very successful, special economic zones. So what a special economic zone is, it could either be a designated area or designated industry in a country that has specific rules that apply that may streamline business, for example, and encourage foreign direct investment. I'll give you an example of Mauritius. Mauritius has one of the most successful special economic zones. Now, Mauritius was a sugarcane country. I don't know if persons know, but it's an island off the southeast of Africa.
How large it is?
Mauritius, that's a good question. I'll let Hortensia do the research so long while as to the size of...
Because the reason I ask that is because we are only 68 square miles, huh?
Yes, no, but it... Okay, I understand what you're getting to, and I'll deal with that
yeah.
when I'm dealing with the act.
Yeah.
So Mauritius, 1 second, yes. Mauritius, yes. So Mauritius started their zone in 1970 to move from a sugar-dependent island, sounds familiar, to a diversified middle-income economy. Unemployment at the time fell from 20% to 5%. Manufacturing soared, and the model eventually evolved into like a free port hub. And it was in an economy, it's like an area where businesses can have special rules which encourages persons to set up businesses there. They hire local people in those businesses. Think of like offshore, the offshore sector in Nevis. It's not a special zone, but it's the industry that attracts foreign investment. It hires local people, and it builds up the economy. Now, the size of the zone varies, but I just want to understand what the economic zone is. Jamaica has an economic zone. Let me give it. Jamaica, 70% of Jamaican exports originate in their special economic zone. Bahamas has a special example.
Can I interject occasionally?
Of course.
Okay.
There's a discussion.
So let me ask you, does this zone...
What zone?
Whatever zone, whether hypothetical or here, proposed, do these zone, what does autonomy mean in relation to this zone? Or
what do you do with autonomy?
Okay, let me...
Quinn. Okay, I think I know where you're going. Let's hold that thought, stick a pin on that. Let's talk about the bill first, and then we'll get to that. Because I want to go to the bill first, if you allow me to.
Okay, I'm going to pause there, and I'm going to go back just before when I asked the question about the zone, because this is very, very important, because what I'm doing here is doing a bit of an analysis of the discussion. I will not venture into anything that was not discussed, because as you listen, there might be various questions that pop into your mind, as did the same with myself, but I will not go into anything that we did not discuss, as the AG is not here, and so I would not want to be ambushing him in any way. But the things that were discussed are the things that we are going to analyze. And you noted that the AG asked about what zone, and he sort of tried to brush that aside. So I'm going to go back to just before I ask that question and play it again, because as we go along, you'll see the importance of our discussion. So here we go.
And then talk about the rumors.
Okay.
Good. So let's do that. So, okay, that's an Jamaican exports originate in their special economic zone. Bahamas has a special example.
Can I interject occasionally?
Of course.
Okay.
There's a discussion.
So let me ask you, does this zone,
What zone?
whatever zone, whether hypothetical or here, proposed, do these zone, what does autonomy mean in relation to this zone? Or
Where do you get with autonomy?
Okay, let me.
Okay, Quinn. Okay, I think I know where you're going. Let's hold that thought. Stick a pin on that. Let's talk about the bill first,
Yes.
and then we'll get to that because
Okay.
I want to go to the bill first,
Yes.
if you allow me to, and then talk about the rumors.
Okay.
Good. So let's do that. So, okay, that's an economic zone. Economic zones are areas. They could be, for example, manufacturing, where the manufacturing companies are encouraged to come and set up there because they have special rules, concessions, rules, and so forth. In that area, where they can then make money, they hire people in that jurisdiction because you can go to another jurisdiction, but you encourage the persons to come to your jurisdiction by setting up this special economic zone. So they're actually very good. There's one in I think it was Ireland, yes, the Shannon Free Zone. It has 170 companies and 8,000 jobs. There is one in Dubai, the Jebel Ali Free Zone, 130,000 plus jobs, and it's 24% of Dubai's foreign direct investment. There is also one in Panama, the Colon Free Zone, which has 2,500 plus companies, 30,000 jobs. It's 8.5% of the GDP. So I'm just showing you that this is an option that has been taken in other jurisdictions to set up special economic zones that create employment, create income,
Yes.
and have been beneficial in other places. Good. I just want to stick up in there. So that's one. Two, there is within our constitution, there is an established Nevis Island administration. There's established the federal government. The Nevis Island administration, and just to give you a bit of maybe Jeopardy knowledge, there's one other jurisdiction in the world, from my research, and persons can prove me wrong, which has a similar setup to us, and that is Tanzania and Zanzibar. It's called, I think, the United Republic. If you could check that to Cartencia, I don't want to be wrong. There's a term for Tanzania, name, and Zanzibar is part. But Zanzibar has its own legislature on the island of Zanzibar, which is off the east coast of Africa. And then they have certain things that they have exclusive right over to control. So that's how we're set up as well.
Well,
There are
that is where I wanted to go, where these exclusive rights.
Okay. So within the Constitution, let me explain that part.
Now I'm going to stop there again because that is another point that is of very significant importance, where he used a particular phrase, and I'm going to play it back again, and then later down, in the conversation, he makes a statement, and I refer to what he said, and he said he did not make that statement, and I remember telling him that, yes, you did make that statement. And he said, no, I didn't. And I said, well, okay, we're recording it. So I'm going to play back that statement, and I want you to listen carefully to how he referred to this zone. But before I do that, also remember that in the conversation, the AG spoke about special economic zones. And in these economic zones, he spoke about various numbers of businesses in this zone. But in relation to Nevis and this zone, it has never been referred to, as far as I'm aware, as a special economic zone. It is just referred to as a special sustainability zone. Okay, so I see my phone lighting up, but before I got to the phone, I want to finish this clip in its entirety, and then perhaps you can engage me in a bit of a conversation. So I'll go back and listen carefully to how the Attorney General describes this area.
And Zanzibar is part, but Zanzibar has its own legislature on the island of Zanzibar, which is off the east coast of Africa. And then they have certain things that they have exclusive right over to control. So that's how we're set up as well.
Well, now, you heard the term exclusive rights. This is the relevant part there. Exclusive rights. If you say that there's going to be a zone that has exclusive rights, then that is why I asked about autonomy. Autonomy means control. And he said, where do you get the word autonomy? And he referred to it as a rumor. But here now, he's still referring to this in his words as, again, let me play it for you, in relation to this zone. Or
What do you do with autonomy?
Okay,
And Zanzibar is part, but Zanzibar has its own legislature on the island of Zanzibar, which is off the east coast of Africa. And then they have certain things that they have exclusive right over to control. So that's how we're set up as well.
Well, that is where I wanted to go, this exclusive rights.
Okay. So within the Constitution, let me explain that part. So Nevis, let me open the Constitution. So I'll go to the section. So for example, agriculture. Agriculture is one of those matters. Okay, so that, you see, our Constitution is not straightforward. It's not the typical Commonwealth Caribbean Constitution. It has its own nuances, and that, I think, is why we're going to set up a constitutional information program. We haven't figured out how we're going to do it yet, whether a podcast, so we can go through chapter by chapter the Constitution so people can have an understanding. So there are certain things which the Nevis Island administration, that is the executive, the government, have exclusive rights over. Then there are certain things that the legislature in Nevis, because there's a legislature in Nevis as well with a president instead of a clerk.
But I'm speaking to the exclusive rights of the individuals who will be housed in this proximity.
No, you see, okay, Quint, you unfortunately, you swallowed the rumors.
But just now you stated some places, and you said...
Oh, you mean in the special economic zone?
Yes. And
they have
you
special
said,
rules that apply.
And you did not say special rules. You said exclusive rights.
I didn't say exclusive rights.
You said some of these businesses have exclusive rights.
No, I didn't say that. I said special rules.
Okay, well, we are being recorded.
Yeah, so we can look back and see. Yeah, you can correct.
Okay, so, again, you heard him. He said he did not say it. So we're going to go back to that point there and play this.
And Zanzibar is part, but Zanzibar has its own legislature on the island of Zanzibar, which is off the east coast of Africa. And then they have certain things that they have exclusive right over to control.
Yeah, exclusive. Certain things that they, the companies or corporation, have exclusive rights over. So I wanted to make those points clear, because one of the things I do, and I would admonish anyone who sits down in an interview or have a chat with anyone, listen, this is where we lack, we fall short. We don't listen, and because we don't listen, as the conversation continues, then a statement is made and someone refutes something, and because you didn't listen, you can't really be adamant in terms of saying, well, no, this is what you said, or so forth. Because usually it seems to me that people who come to an interview with someone, they come with their own perceived way of how the conversation should go, and within their mind they have their own trend of how the conversation will wind up. You cannot do that. You're going to take the individual. I'm taking the Attorney General by his words. And anything I repeat or I question is in relation to his words. So there you heard it, and there I'm going to go back to just before he denies it, and then let the clip finish, and then I'm going to entertain whoever it is trying to call me on the telephone. Places, and you said.
Oh, you mean in the
they
special
have-
economic zone?
Yes, and
they have
you
special
said-
rules that apply.
You did not say special rules. You said special. You said exclusive rights.
I did not. No, I didn't say exclusive rights.
You said some of these businesses have exclusive rights.
No,
That
I
is
didn't say
what you
that. I said special rules.
Okay, well, we are being recorded.
Yeah, so we can look back
we
and
can
see.
always
Yeah, you can
look
correct
back
me if
at
I'm
that.
wrong.
Yes.
But the point is that the companies, the businesses that are set up in special economic zones have special rules that apply to them.
Okay, special rules and exclusive rights are two different things. So
Yes.
I just wanted to make
Very
that
different
clear.
things. Yes, very different things.
When we
Okay.
say special rules, could you be concise on what we mean?
They vary in different economic zones. So I believe the one in Ireland, they have a special like customs rules. I know in the one in Jamaica, they have special rules to expedite export and import.
Yes.
So there won't be the same customs rules that apply to Cortencia when Cortencia goes up to Bird Rock. But there will be special rules and special rules that apply within the zone. Cayman has one as well that has special rules that apply within to encourage foreign direct investment.
Okay, so let me see if I can engage that caller right about now. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yes, good day.
Good day, good day. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm okay. Yeah, I happened to tune in there for a while. And you know, the analysis that you drew between this economic zone that the AG talks about and what is proposed in Nevis, you are right and pointing because that is exactly what I call him to talk about.
Yes.
But you have mentioned it, you have analyzed it, and you have mentioned it, so I won't really go into that. But as it is often said, the elders usually say, right, when people don't talk straight and when they have to say something to cover up something else, you understand, that is where they get caught out. What does the elder say? A liar has a short memory, right?
Yes, I'm listening. Yeah.
That's what the elders say. That's what they say.
Yes.
That a liar has a short memory. So when people speak, they don't remember what they say, and they have to say something else to cover up something else and whatever. But I am certain that I heard him say that the law is already passed.
Yes, he did.
Right?
Yes, he
the
did.
law is already passed.
Yes.
So where does that leave us? Where does that leave us?
And that is the riveting question.
Because coming on now, constantly talking and trying to make people see from their point or from their angle or their perspective, it doesn't make any sense. We can hear all this kind of confusion that was just mentioned. Economic zone, when we hear about sustainability, autonomy authorization.
Let me read the title of the bill. Special Sustainability Zone Authorization Bill.
Oh, it's zone authorization.
Yes.
Right. I mean, special sustainability authorization. I mean, where is economic inside of that?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Listen, do you see what is happening, like, in the land of the eagle and the dragon and all, and the bear and all of that? They have their eyes down here, you know. And when they come, we better watch ourselves, you know, because they're not going to come in peace. This special sustainability, we have to pay attention to that. Very much so. I don't understand. We don't have all that land and whatever. A former prime minister said that no land was there when citizens were asking for land for housing and so on. Is there no land there? But then where the land come from now to just give all of these things and so on, to give them out to whomsoever? And when they keep talking about law, and more or less to say like they cannot come here and do as they like because there's the law and there's the this and there's the that. Who are they fooling? Who are they fooling? We don't have to go far. Look at what is presently before our eyes. You can go to the peninsula and you can go to all of these other areas because you know where you can say they're special zones. I don't know about the sustainability, but it seems like the authorization is well in place.
But it seems to me, from my vantage point, and I've asked the question, that the sustainability would be for the investors, not for us, because I don't see anything that would be sustainable for us, the people. Hence, this is why we question everything. This is why we question this bill.
It is not. It is not. Look at what's happening right now here over the Southeast Peninsula. How much authority do these people here have over that area? How much authority? But they keep saying the law, the law, the law. The law what? Oh, they can't do this and they can't do that. That is on paper. Just the same way they like to talk about we are independent. Independent how? We have a ceremonial type of independence. Independence is only on paper. Right? That's the kind of independence we have. A ceremonial independence on paper. But in reality, we still see the visible signs of neo-colonialism taking hold. You see? And this is what is happening with these things. They're not going to come and subject themselves. I have said it time and time again in the past. They're not going to come and subject themselves to nobody here. And they're going to get through because many people in this country are afraid of them. Why? I don't know. Why are they afraid of them? Why don't you want to stand up and say what you have to say?
And that is a good question. Why? That is a good question.
Is there a compromise somewhere?
Yeah, that is a
Was
very...
a compromise somewhere?
Yeah.
Because I don't understand. If you are independent, you stand up. Who is your source? Who is your source? If we say, well, not really me, but if many people say that this is a Christian society and they believe in God, so how could you put down the all-powerful and you're going to subject yourself to a being, flesh and blood, that has the covering of flesh and blood? Why? I don't understand why people are afraid of them. Why? For what? The only thing they have is their weaponry, and their weapons are going to fail just now. So I don't understand. I really don't understand. But they need to really reassess everything, and they need to understand how they're speaking to people, because they say one thing, and in reality, it is different. In reality, it's different. Don't come talk about the law, because the law is only there against people like me and you of this land. To me, it seems like it doesn't work for others, especially those who come in. It's not working because they come and they do as they like. But then again, it seems like it's whatever is written on paper. And strange enough, they tend to respect and honor what is written in contract or paper when it comes to them. But when it comes to local, that was done under a past governmental administration. So they have no honor for that. But we have to be careful. We have to be careful. We have to be careful. But I mean, he was really, what should I say? You're listening to him. There was no how should I say, stability in how he was here, there, and everywhere, and you're gonna pick it up in his voice that it's like he wasn't really prepared, or he was caught off guard in what he was saying. He brought out a lot of inconsistencies, and that's what I picked up really. Well, anyways, you have a blessed day.
Same to you. Thanks for your input. Yes, I'm going to take a bit of a commercial break, and when we get back, we'll get back to another clip as we analyze our recent conversation with the Attorney General.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM. Ready to save while you build? Now you can at Builders Paradise. Yes, shoppers, build up your Value Club points at Builders Paradise. That's right, Value Club members and shoppers, your favorite frequent buyer club is now available at the home of hardware and more. Whether you're laying tiles, painting walls, replacing doors, upgrading windows, or fixing up your home, every purchase at Builders Paradise now earns you Value Club points. Enjoy exclusive benefits like discounts on thousands of items, special savings for seniors, instant deals, quarterly rebates, plus an extra up to 2% off every quarter. Shop more, save more, and more only at Builders Paradise. Don't miss out. Start building your rewards today with Value Club at Builders Paradise, because every bolt, board, and brush brings you closer to bigger, better savings. Terms and conditions apply.
And I'm back with you, and the time is precisely 11 o'clock. And I saw my phone lighting up just a while ago, but it has ceased. If you wish to, do give me a call before I start the next clip, because once I start the clip, I will not stop it to engage you. I will let it play in its entirety, or it will only be paused when I stop to replay a piece for clarity, and then when the entire clip is done, then I will engage you in a conversation. So again, I admonish you, if there's something you wish to say, do so right about now. Give me a call, and I will engage you. Hello, good day, caller.
Yes, Quint, quickly. Now, I listened to the sister there asking the question, why, what is it they fear? What is it they fear? They fear just what they give us, fear. They are afraid of fear because they are worshiping whiteness. We worship whiteness, Quint. Because you see, now, the morning when you had the AG on Island T, later in that afternoon, the AG was on Freedom. And guess who graced Freedom with his presence? The Prime Minister. And in my opinion, Quint, this is my opinion, when I listen, the Prime Minister, it's almost like it was a rush to get him there while the AG was there. This is my observation, Quint.
Yes.
And you listen to the rhetoric and the emphasis, like, go here and go there and get a copy of this. Get a copy. I mean, when I listened to that, I was like, the gullibility of our people. When these people speak to us, we don't do, we just take everything because they come across so colorful. They come across so colorful with their enthusiasm. And it is staggering. The level of respect that they have for us. And we have to demand better. And that is why, Quint, that is why we as a people, we can't no longer just take what they give us. You know? I mean, they come across as if they don't know the value of things, or because, they get whatever, maybe something under the table. I mean, it's there. Our politicians on the continent and in the Caribbean, something always surface and putting us in servitude. And again, Quint, the sister tried to indicate that they're going to be coming. They're coming because they know that the economy and all that is happening in their space is coming to an end. And they're trying to escape that. And where they're going to flock. And when they do flock our space, what going to become of us?
Journey,
look what is going on. Yeah.
Journey, I don't believe that they're trying to escape it. This is what I believe. I believe that what they're trying to do is to put themselves in certain places so that they can reintroduce some of the colonialist values. And they can only do that if they are in certain proximities where they can use their force. For instance, let's say they were to be placed in a zone in Nevis, and that zone gives them, they have autonomy or they have control or they do not have to deal with our laws, right? Then it then means that whenever anything happens, they can infiltrate and they can do whatever they want. For instance, I asked the Attorney General I said, if you have this place and you give people certain authority, let's say they bring in guns and next thing, and then he said, no, our laws are going to be in place. We are going to control customs and so forth. So these are the things we want to hear and we wanted to hear. But when we discuss the bill, and again, let me read the title of the bill, Special Sustainability Zone Authorization Bill, we don't get the gist that this is going to be something, one, that has to do with industry, and number two, we didn't get until the AG now and the Prime Minister are now trying to explain after the fact that they are going to have control. But before that, we did not know this.
Well, Quint, the very word in itself, foreign investment, and I remember, I did say earlier, years ago, maybe three years back, I said, foreign investment and the foreign investors, if they're not looking like us, then our leaders, they're happy for foreign investment because they know how they see these people that are coming as the foreign investors. You see, they're not our people. And that is why I was saying we have to squat everything that belongs to Europe and America, as the ad was playing on our airwaves during COVID. Caribbean tourism is dead in the water. Going forward depends on what happens in Europe and America and Canada. So why don't we get our investors coming from the continent of Africa? Why don't we link up with what is happening in Africa? Because, Quint, no, this is not going to happen by a snap of a finger. But what if all Africans in Europe and America is to leave that space? And what is on the horizon is that they are leaving and going back to Africa. What will become of Europe and America? Because here's where we have to start seeing that this system is only feeding on our energy, on every sphere. And that is why they gave us what they gave us, religion and all of that they give us, their curriculum, their education system, to hide what they have done to our people. I mean, to ask the question, what do they fear? They are worshiping whiteness. They're worshiping whiteness, Quint. And I'm not saying this out of animosity or bitterness or hatred, but it is a fact. And that's what we need to move away from, Quint. I'll leave it there.
Okay, thanks for your input. Now I'm going to play the other clip. The next clip that is in regards to our discussion with the Attorney General. Like I said, from the moment the clip starts to play until it ends, it is an extract from the entire conversation, but the piece that you hear is unedited. You hear it in its entirety from the time it begins to the moment that it ends, so that no one can accuse us here at winnfm or myself of editing and putting certain things to give a spin or changing anything that the Attorney General has said when he came and had an interview with us.
So, to the Constitution, certain things that the Nevis Island Legislature has exclusive rights over, they're listed: agriculture, amenities for tourists, animals, archaeological or historic sites, borrowing of money, cemeteries, cinemas, conservation and supply of water, dangerous or inflammable substances, economic planning and development other than national planning and development, employment of persons who are not citizens, hotels, restaurants, bars, casinos, housing, industries, trades, businesses, land and buildings other than land and buildings vested in the Crown and specifically appropriated to the use of government, including holding of land by persons who are not citizens or alien land holding licenses, manufacture and supply of electricity, parks, prevention and control of fires, roads and highways, sports and cultural activities. Those are matters that are within the purview of the Nevis Island legislature. Then the Nevis Island administration has similar exclusive, so in other words, the federal government cannot tell them to do in relation to these matters. That is what the Constitution says. Good. So I've set the background. Now, the Special Sustainability Zones Authorization Act is what you call a preliminary act. It effectively is the Parliament giving the executive the opportunity to negotiate development agreements to set up special economic zones with sustainability principles. So that's what it is. It is the Parliament giving the executive the authority to negotiate development agreements. Those development agreements must have take into consideration sustainability. So in other words, if you set up a manufacturing zone, for example, in St. Kitts or Nevis, you can't draw on, I think it says 70, you can't pull all our electricity from Skelec. You must generate your own electricity. You can't pull all the water, we already have water issues, from the general water supply. You must generate your own water. Sustainability principles. So it's really economic zones with sustainability principles. Okay, let's take a pen. Let's go directly to the bill. The bill is an act to authorize and empower the Prime Minister, with the approval of Cabinet, and if necessary, the Nevis Island Administration, to enter into development agreements for the establishment of special sustainability zones on real property within St. Christopher and Nevis, and to provide for related and incidental matters. Now let's go to the objectives of the Act. Good. 1. Promote sustainable development in St. Kitts and Nevis, which coexists in harmony with nature for generations to come. Is that a good thing? Good. To enable the establishment of special sustainability zones through development agreements to facilitate long-term economic opportunities, create permanent employment, attract foreign and domestic investment, and generate revenue for the benefit of St. Kitts and Nevis. Is that good? Those things.
Sounds good.
To attract financially and technically qualified zone developers, as well as investors and other participants in special sustainability zones in order to promote the effective realization of the zones and associated investments.
Now I'm going to stop there and I'm going to play back that piece, because you notice the AG he says, on one point he says economic development, but whenever he refers to the zone, he says special sustainability zone. We would have thought that he would, whenever he refers to the zone, that he would incorporate either economic or development in that phrasing. For instance, refer to it as special sustainability economic zone or special sustainability economic development zone. But listen again to how he speaks on one end and how it comes out on the other end.
Of the Act. Good. 1. Promote sustainable development in St. Kitts and Nevis, which coexists in harmony with nature for generations to come. Is that a good thing?
So you hear that. Promote sustainable development. See, he used a word there? But whenever he refers to the zone now, that word is exempt.
Of the Act. Good. 1. Promote sustainable development in St. Kitts and Nevis, which coexists in harmony with nature for generations to come. Is that a good thing? Good. To enable the establishment of special sustainability zones through development agreements to facilitate long-term economic opportunities, create permanent employment, attract foreign...
Okay, in that instance there, you notice that he used sustainability zone through development initiatives. So there you have it there in that instance. What I'm saying is that we want a consistency, because when it comes to what we're hearing over on Nevis, and I'm going to always refer to Nevis because this is where this thing started, and this is why a bill was debated and passed. And to this point, even though of recent times we've heard Mr. Mark Brantley say, well, there is a developer, he has not been able to say what kind of development. Is it a development in terms of business, industry, economic development. He says a developer, but you use the word developer in referring to the individual, but you can't tell us what the development will be. Whereas in the prior clip with the AG, you heard him speak about in particular zones in other places across the planet where there are industrial developments. And he said, for instance, there's X amount of business development in this area, and there's X amount of economic development in that area. And this is what we want to hear, or what we wanted to hear in relation to Nevis. Not that there is the facilitating of the selling of lands for a particular zone, but we're hearing about numbers of individuals coming in, and we're hearing all kind of other things that people speculate and say are rumors, but yet still we are not hearing of the actual development that should bring employment.
Of the Act. Good. 1. Promote sustainable development in St. Kitts and Nevis, which coexists in harmony with nature for generations to come. Is that a good thing? Good. To enable the establishment of special sustainability zones through development agreements to facilitate long-term economic opportunities, create permanent employment, attract foreign and domestic investment, and generate revenue for the benefit of St. Kitts and Nevis. Is that good? Those things.
Sounds good.
To attract financially and technically qualified zone developers, as well as investors and other participants in special sustainability zones in order to promote the effective realization of the zones and associated investments. Good. To enhance both the region and St. Kitts and Nevis's prominence as an extraordinary investment and lifestyle destination. Okay, good. To outline the principles for the establishment of zone governance, special rules, with SSZs, I'll call them SSZs from now on, which accord with the Constitution and which facilitate operational discretion in accordance with international best practice. Is that good? Good. To promote the protection of investments made by zone developers and other investors in real property within SSCs, as well as interests of lenders holding security over such properties. To promote developments that advance multiple of the 7 pillars of the sustainable development to which St. Kitts and Nevis has committed as part of its Sustainable Island State agenda, such pillars being, I won't read them all, water security, energy transition, food security, sustainable industry, sustainable settlements, circular economy, social protection. Right? The 7 pillars that have been spoken about in Sustainable Island State. Good. Then now Section 4 deals with the authority to enter into development agreements. And this is where I wanted to set the constitutional framework first. The Prime Minister may enter into a development agreement with the prior approval of Cabinet for the purpose of giving effect to the provisions of the Act, subject to conditions precedent in Section 5. So, mention Section 5. We're going to go to that. That's important. Okay, good. 2, where...
Excuse. A lot of this is going to go into... I don't want you to go into every detail of everything.
But that's the point. That's the point, Quint.
After you've outlined 4 points up like you did...
Oh, explain it afterwards.
After you've explained 4 points of a particular act, then you can go on. I don't want you to get... Because time is
okay,
of the
Understood.
essence.
In other words, speed up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we want... Because one of the things I'm thinking... You use Mauritius or wherever as an example.
From the size?
790 square miles.
Okay.
790 square miles.
Yeah.
So like 8 times our size.
Okay. And that is important.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So number 2. Now again I'm going to pause because I interjected there because I wanted the AG to be aware of the fact that time is of the essence. And what I find often happens is individuals come, they say they're open to an interview, but yet still they take up all of the time, and they take up all of the time in such a manner that you can't really, if you don't interject or if you don't push, you don't really get the gist of what you really want to get out of them. And so I didn't want that to happen. And that is why I sort of interjected and reminded him that time is of the essence. And then I also went into, I am also going to play back this because then Cortensia now brings up the question that I asked earlier in an earlier clip about the size, because the size is very important, because you cannot put us as a comparison when we're only 68 square miles or 30 something square miles, and you're going to put us in comparison with some place of a large area of land. You should not use that as a good example. So I'm going to go and continue, and we continue. Yeah.
Okay.
Because we want because one of the things I'm thinking, you use Mauritius or wherever as an example.
From the size?
790 square miles.
Okay.
790 square miles.
Yeah.
So like 8 times our size.
Okay. And that is important.
Yes, okay.
Okay. So number 2, the point I wanted to make is this special zone that is in Mauritius, are you aware of whether the land is sold or leased?
No.
So that is something that you should have, when you use it as an example, you should have come and say, because we're hearing that the land in Nevis is going to be sold. We don't have a problem with any development.
Sold by who?
Sold from people who own the land so that it could be used as a special zone.
I have a question, Gat. Do we have where are some of the sustainable zones here on St. Kitts presently?
There are no sustainability.
Oh, we don't have any.
No, because this law was just passed.
Okay.
Yes. There's no proposal for St. Kitts for any sustainability zone. The Premier has said there's one for Nevis.
Yeah.
I do not want to talk about, to be honest, I don't want to get involved in the debate that's happening in Nevis. That is a debate for Nevisians.
So
right?
you don't think the question as to whether the land for the zone will be sold or
Okay,
leased
let's
is
go to
important?
that. Let's go to that. Yes, well, I mean, it is debatable. Yes. Let's go to the section of the Act that deals with that first.
Okay, and so that's the end of that clip. I'm going to play the next clip that furthers the conversation there. But another point of interest is where the Attorney General says, I don't want to go into the Nevis aspect. And it makes you kind of wonder, because a bill was debated in the federal parliament and passed in the federal parliament, and federal means cooperating, integrating St. Kitts and Nevis. But now the AG is saying he doesn't want to touch that part. But earlier in another clip he said now it is law. So it is law for whatever to happen on Nevis, but the Attorney General doesn't want to discuss that. It makes you ask yourselves questions, okay? So I'm going to go straight to the other clip now that continues the conversation from where the AG left off when I asked him about land and so on and so forth.
This talk about giving up sovereignty is actually quite ridiculous because the Act says the opposite. And the point I'm trying to make is quint. Yes, one of the solutions to negativity is to consult first.
Yes.
Good. Right? However, that is no justification for people saying the opposite about something, meaning a lie. To try to create hysteria.
But Mr. Agee, with all due respect, we know there's an old saying where there is no knowledge, the people.
Yes.
You know that.
Yes,
right?
but where a law is passed in Parliament,
Yes.
this law was debated, I think, by at least 6 parliamentarians, where the details of the law were actually spoken out, were actually read, were discussed. Right? I remember at one point in the debate it was said, this makes sure there's no issues as to sovereignty. Because when you create special rules, you have a little gray area there. But this particular bill says, we're preserving our sovereignty. You must come with leased or purchased land to things. So it's not about government giving up any land.
Yeah.
Right? All of these things that are the opposite of what is being said in the public are contained in the black and white of this bill.
But maybe you're not aware of it, and you do not have to go into it, but there's something happening on Nevis that is of concern in terms of land within a given area being facilitated to be sold for, so there's a question.
Quint, I love your English. English is a lovely language, isn't it?
We are going to ask Mr. Brantley to
English
come out
was
and
one of my
explain that
favorite
part.
subjects.
Potentia?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. You talk to the NIA about
Yeah.
their proposal.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
The Premier has said there has been a proposal, right? So you can talk to him about the proposal. I can tell you, the federal government has not received any proposal,
Okay.
right? And if we do receive a proposal, naturally, and think about it, naturally, it has to be thought of very deeply.
Yeah.
Because it's something different. Things that are different are normally, but that's the beauty of democracy. That's the beauty of democracy.
Yeah.
One of the issues I have, sitting in that chair before, Quint, I've been around
Yes,
WinFM, started off as a DJ in 2003 and so forth.
I didn't know you did the DJ
Yes,
part.
yeah, I was a good DJ for a little while. But the point is, though, that I have been a social commentator.
Yes.
I have sat there and interviewed prime ministers who sat here.
And you've sat over there also
And
and
I've sat
interviewed him.
and interviewed
Yes.
persons.
Yes.
So I believe in democracy. I believe in a strong democracy means accepting different views because none of us are the same.
Yes.
I have different views to my children.
And you're also open to critique.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I get a lot of critique. I don't think there's the category of things they haven't said about me is much less than what they have. But anyway, that's all part of high public office. It is what it is, and none of us are perfect. None of us are
Yeah,
perfect.
that is
so
true.
so we accept criticism. However, what I don't like, and this is a fundamental issue that I have, because when I used to host shows, I would always do my research first.
Yes.
Come with the facts. One of the worst atrocities that's ever happened in the world happened because of propaganda.
Yes.
I have written a long paper, can't remember when it was, maybe 2016 or 17 around there, on propaganda and how it can destroy a
Let me
country.
let me ask you this: would you sit there and I don't want to use the word accuse, but I think I will. Will you accuse me of being a propagandist?
No, I accuse you of having very strong views
Yes.
that sometimes are not based on fact. So in other words, but I don't blame you. I don't
Wait,
blame you
but-
because
but-
sometimes the narrative. So okay, let's take this example. This
But
SSA.
before you go forward, let me say this. You are part right and you are part wrong. Because I don't state what I say as fact. I ask
As an
questions.
opinion, yes. And you do ask
no,
questions.
I ask
Yes,
questions.
yes.
Yeah, so I want you to be clear on
Okay,
that.
so I think what it is you have very strong opinions. Sometimes the opinions you have are not based on accurate facts. But that's fine. That's fine. You ask questions, you probe.
Yes.
Right? I have no problem with that.
Yes.
You know that this station was created so that there could be discussion
Yes.
about matters.
Yes.
That's why it was created. It's not owned by the government. It's owned by numerous individuals of different political beliefs who felt that they had to be free expression.
Because in asking question, here's something I've garnered, which is why I ask question. And this is something you can take with you as you go and use it in further debate. Mauritius or whatever that place is named, that you use as an example,
Yes.
leases land.
Well,
Lease and sell.
lease and sell.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what Catencia
Yeah.
says.
Okay.
Yes. No. Listen.
Read back that part that you did in
She said
relation to
lease,
the-
and there's some options to purchase.
Yes, I want her to find that and read back. In the meantime, you
Yeah.
you can speak.
Yes.
Now I stopped there because again, I'm going to go back to what I said it earlier. Whenever you sit down to have a chat or interview with an individual, always listen keenly. Listen to the individual. Listen to whatever is read, and that is what I do. And so when I ask Hortensia to rehash that clip, it is because I know when I was listening, I heard something in particular, and it seems as if though presently that wants to be either obscured or overlooked or brushed aside, and I did not want that. So therein you find that is why I asked Hortensia to bring back that clip, and in another clip you're going to hear where She brings back that clip, and you will understand why I asked that it be brought back for clarity. And this is something you can take with you as you go and use it in further debate. Mauritius, or whatever that place is named, that you use an an example,
Yes.
leases land.
Well,
Lease and sell.
lease and sell.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what Catencia
Yeah.
says.
Okay.
Yes. No. Listen.
Read back that part that you did in
She said
relation to
lease, and there's some options to purchase.
Yes, I want her to find that and read back. In the meantime, you
Yeah.
you can speak.
Yes. So I just wanted to. So there are conditions precedent.
Yes.
If you develop a special economic zone, it must fulfill our sustainability principles.
Yes.
That's in essence what it is. Bring your own water. Which is what Marriott has done.
Yes.
Ma-
You
Mar-
found it, Cartens,
No,
yeah?
it's loading pretty slow.
Right? And if you have special rules that apply to your zone, it must come to Parliament.
And I'm going to put special rules in inverted commas here because there's a question as to
Exactly.
how
So
far that
no,
will go.
but remember section 6I says everything must comply with our constitution. What our constitution says, we're a sovereign country.
Okay.
Right? So the debates that they're having right now,
Their own
oh.
laws, etc.
yeah. I mean, I don't even want to go into it because it's just. Okay. As someone who has read the bill, when I hear those things, I say, boy, politics is really something else, you know.
And that brings an end to that clip. I see my phone lighting up, so hello. Okay, lost that. Hello, caller. Have a little bit of patience. I did say, and I'm going to reiterate, whenever the clip is playing, I will not engage you once the clip is playing. But once the clip has finished, I will engage you. So if the clip is finished, let me go back to the caller. Hello?
Yes, Quinn.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, listening to the Attorney General now reminds me, when he said that he was on radio and so on, it reminded me of an instance when he was hosting the ex-Prime Minister, Prime Minister Harris. And I called him. I didn't finish one sentence when the Attorney General, he wasn't Attorney General then, obviously,
Yes.
interrupted, cut me off, and said, "This is not a program to bash anybody. I am not Mr. Backus." I will always remember it because it was one of 2 times since I've been calling in the radio that I was ever cut off for what I was saying.
Okay.
In this case, it was what I was about to say.
Which is quite interesting.
Yeah, you know. So it's really interesting to hear his take now on these kinds of issues.
Yes.
Because the same kind of arrogance displayed then is the same kind being displayed now, which is why I think he should be challenged. Okay? Because one of the obvious things about his promotion of this bill, he wants to separate it totally from what is happening in Nevis.
Yeah.
And
And
sorry.
that is quite strange.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And how can you do that?
Because the bill was passed, from our perspective, the bill was passed to accommodate what should happen in Nevis.
But they deny that, you know.
But yeah, but
They are denying that.
But they can deny it all they want. If you heard the Attorney General say there's no proposal on our end, so that means from our end we had no reason to bring up this bill and pass it. Okay, so it is because it is because of what was happening on Nevis that this was done. Foreseeing, as the Attorney General expressed, foreseeing that same kind of development potential on St. Kitts.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. But the thing is, right? The Premier is also claiming that, well, they're not at the stage where they could release adequate information to the public. Okay,
But
it's obvious that this was in the works, has been in the works for at least a year and a half.
But Mr. McMahon, if what you just said, and I've heard it myself, it brings up another very riveting question, because if you are not at liberty to express certain things, and as the AG expressed again and again, this development is to facilitate, economic development, okay? So if that is the case, what is it that you can't divulge? If it is economic development that will bring jobs and so forth to the country, why this haze? Why this obscurity?
Exactly, and that is the whole point. Why the secrecy up to this point, right? And like you, I am skeptical that when they say that, well, this bill was brought up not because of what is happening in Nevis, but this was essentially planned for some time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't buy that one bit. Okay, and the one of the things that he indicated was that it's premature for even the visions to be talking about a proposal that has not been brought before the government, before the government as yet. When in fact, Mr. Brantley, on the questioning, revealed some items in the negotiating.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, he said he was approached by the developers for 2,400 acres.
Yeah.
You know, and also that there would be, about 3 high-end hotels and lots of luxury residences. They have they obviously have some idea of what they want the proposal to entail.
But like you said,
not premature.
But like you said, we only began to hear that after the fact, after people started to query, about this thing, and people started to say, bring up words like that word. What was that word to do with what the developers were demanding, libertarian and all that kind of stuff. And also you can remember that Mark Brantley at one point, in trying to distance himself from certain things, said, well, you need to go and ask those who either proposed the bill or who brought, I can't remember his exact words, and so forth. And then when the question was asked of the AG laughed, and the AG said he sort of threw it back over into Mark Brantley's lap. So it's a back and forth, and it's just the, if you read body language, just the demeanor, this laughing and so on when things start to get tight, and this subterfuge and being evasive. This whole thing, they are not, it seems to me, looking at this thing as something very serious that can. I think that they are beginning to do it, but only because people are making a hoopla. But if you listen to the Attorney General in a clip perhaps that I'm going to play, you're going to hear him ask question. I'm sure you heard him when he asked. So do you think that a government is going to do something that is going to be detrimental, you know. So the reason they're asking those kind of questions is because now they're confronted with certain things that they realize could be destructive to them. And so hence you find they're trying to do a sort of between him and the prime minister now are trying to quell this whole thing. And as the AG stated after the fact, when I asked him, don't you think that all of this that you're saying now that seems to be bringing some clarity should have been discussed in a forum before? And he says, yes, you know. So I think they see that this could be a disaster.
That was a naive question, though, you know. About do you think that the parliamentarians would do something?
And you listen, and you heard my reply. My reply was, I can't, you know, we've seen some very strange things happen in history.
Course.
Yeah.
Of course, I mean, recent history too.
Yes.
You know, so that was a strange question.
Yeah.
You know, that's a question somebody who doesn't know or didn't sit up and take notice and weren't paying attention didn't realize that it has happened. And politicians do this thing all the time. They do suicidal things all the time.
You know what I think? You know what I think, Mr. McMahon? I could be wrong, but I think when I listen to the AG and when I listen to the Prime Minister, I said it before, I think that I could be wrong again. I believe two individuals are behind this thing. I believe between Mark Brantley and the former Prime Minister Denzel Douglas, I believe that because of the perceived inexperience of the rest of the cabinet, they were able to put this in a way that the rest of the cabinet followed, and now the rest of the cabinet, those young ones, are now seeing where they are in a sort of a muddy, you know, thing.
That could be it. Although remember when the bill was debated in Parliament, I don't know if you heard it, but all of them, including the same young one, were gushing about the prospects of us becoming another Dubai, or you know, all of them, without question, right? And so I'm saying, even then, they must have realized that this was not an ordinary bill, that it had the capacity to be transformational, and even Brantley himself was saying that it would be a game changer.
Yes.
If done right.
Yes.
He himself said that.
Yeah. This is why. Go ahead. Finish your
thought. So for them to be questioning why people are asking questions and being suspicious is strange, right? You cannot on one hand say something is going to be transformational and change the face of the country on one hand, and then on the next hand say where people should just shut up and take whatever they get. Crazy.
Yeah. So I was about to say that when I've asked a question before. I've made a statement before when I said Mark Brantley must be some kind of great convincer, because he seems to be able to convince people who are supposed to be more savvy than him to indulge into things that cause them problems. We had that with
Quint, you're a real diplomat boy. he's a convincer.
Yeah. Because
I don't know why you stretch out the word so long.
because you see the problem that Unity found themselves in, and then you hear the Timothy Harris when he said, "But this man was brought to me by such and such and such." You understand? And now we're hearing with the parliamentarians down here trying to distance themselves. They're saying, the AG saying, I don't really want to discuss the Nevis part. Let them think. So now they realize again that Mark Brantley has pulled them into something that, you know.
But Mark Brantley had tried the same thing before, you know, when he was saying that, well, it's the attorney, when he was asked about who initiated
Yes.
He was saying the AG office is who draft the bill.
Yes.
Okay? So all the AG, I guess, was doing was pushing back.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
You know? But I just don't like how they approach the whole thing. Yes, economic zone, those economic zones can be very successful.
Yes.
Okay, but some of them can turn out very badly as well.
Yes.
Okay, and so we have to be careful in how we approach this, and this idea of it just being among the politicians when it's going to affect
And let me ask
so
you
many
this.
people.
Let me ask you this too. What do you think about the fact that what do you think about leasing as opposed to selling? Because you notice the Attorney General, he kind of was hesitant to go more towards leasing, because he even asked me at one point, he said, Quint, so you don't want a developer to be able to buy land? And I said, no, it doesn't. It's not that I don't want a developer to buy land. It's all about the amount of land and what the land will be used to do. You understand? If a developer wants to come and he wants to buy a little bit of land and perhaps do some business, we don't have a problem. But when we hear about zones now, and we hear a minimum of 500 acres, and then you're talking about how much you said was proposed?
2,400.
Imagine that. So these are things where. So again, I ask you the question:
But
what do you feel about leasing as opposed to selling?
But Quinn, that was a red herring that he threw there. When he gonna bring in things about you being opposed to a developer coming and buying land? I mean, who opposed the Marriott developer or the Hyatt developer?
Yeah.
No, nobody did that. But that is a different kettle of fish.
Or the one
That's
over,
an
or the
orange.
one over on Nevis. What's it called again?
Four Seasons.
Four Seasons. Who opposed those?
It's a different kettle of fish altogether when you're talking about this amount of acreage.
Yes.
And as you pointed out, what is going to be done in there?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, and the thing is, right? One of the reasons I don't think they can lease is because it's not just going to be hotels, for instance. It's going to be residences.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, where
yeah.
people are going to have, title and so on.
Because that is why we heard, when you're hearing a number of how much, 7,000 or thereabout?
Yeah,
So
7,000 to 10,000.
Yeah, you're talking residence.
Of course.
Yeah, so, yeah.
You essentially you're not only talking residents, you're talking about residents with high net worth.
Yes,
Okay?
yeah.
With lots of money.
Yeah.
And you know what comes behind money?
That's
Lots
it.
of influence.
Yes.
You know? And so I'm surprised, I'm really surprised that they thought they could have just slipped this under the rug, slipped this through, and nobody was going to question things. At the very least, question things. Okay? Hopefully, what may happen now, well, they're not going to get it, as Brent himself said, well, they don't have the 2,400 acres, but they have enough to start. Okay? Hence, maybe that's why the bill was put through at this point.
Yeah.
Right? They have enough to start, and but you can bet your life they're not going to just be content with what they have to start with.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're going to be pushing at the seams to expand.
But this is a good example for us that henceforth, moving forward, we pay very close scrutiny to bills and how they are constructed and how they are worded, because that part in there about 5,000 minimum and there's no maximum, and then hearing the amount that the developers want, those aren't even red flags.
Yeah.
Those are blaring sirens.
Oh yeah. Not only that, the fact is, apparently, those delimiters were in the bill, but was removed. Mr. Brantley said because the cabinet down here did not discuss the minimums and maximums.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even that is suspicious.
Yeah.
You know, this whole thing. I mean,
And that brings up, and I'm glad you brought that, because that brings up another question, because recently, because of what has happened with this bill, those over on Nevis from the political end have been pushing all of a sudden back to this secession thing. And I've said to them, you better be careful, because you're talking about secession. If you had already seceded, Mark would just do what he wanted, and you wouldn't be able to come and be lamenting now. So they had better be. I don't know why they want this segregation. I'm not one who, my father is in a vision, you know, and her father, and so forth. So, you know.
But it's even segregation at another level, right? You look. They have a range of network people, right? You can look at it in classes, middle class and upper class and those kinds of things, right? But in St. Kitts right now, you have that.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, you can go down the peninsula now and see, I mean, there's houses down there that cost 5 and 10 million and those kinds of monies.
Yeah.
Okay? But you don't have the kind of separateness. When I say separateness, people can still drive down the peninsula.
Yeah.
Okay? But with this, you have a community like that, right? There is, and I kept saying that the bill was vague, and strangely enough, the Prime Minister used a word, it's overarching. You know, that kind of semantics to me, right? There were subtle different nuances there. But when you have a bill like that, that does not clearly say that well, you can't have no separate community in the country, then it opens itself to having separate communities.
Yeah.
Right? Do you for one moment think that you're going to be able to just drive through that huge, all that acreage
No.
as you like?
No.
No.
Especially,
you can probably put up the highest fence.
especially when you look at some of the individuals whose names are being called as developers, and their history, their segregative history, and what they project, what they want, and so forth, like libertarianism and that kind of stuff, you know.
Exactly.
And hold a second. There's another caller. Hello, caller.
Hello. Continue discussion. I will hold on.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. McMahon.
I was going to say that I was really surprised when the Prime Minister interrupted me when I said that the bill was vague and said that it could include anything from a mundane, ordinary development zone, economic zone, let's say like the industrial estate in St. Kitts, to a Jim Jones commune. He took exception to that, but it is a fact. If the bill does not specifically say you don't want that kind of thing, then it can accommodate it.
You can't limit it. Okay, so let the other caller interject now. Okay,
right,
you're going to hang up? Cool, okay. Go ahead, caller.
Yes. What I would like to say, right? You made mention about us paying close attention to the bills and so on that what they bring to Parliament, but correct me if I'm wrong. I'm certain that a bill can be presented in the House, deliberated among themselves, and they can bring it into law in one sitting. Isn't that so?
I'm not too sure, and because I'm not a legal luminary, I will not venture to give you a yes or nay. All I can say is I'm not sure.
Okay. I want to believe that it has happened before. I may be wrong, but it can be checked into. But I say that to say this. Paying attention to whatever is being presented in the House is not enough. We need to know beforehand.
I
So that the
agree.
person,
I agree.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
that is why I kind of pushed the AG when he was here. But my statement was like after the discussion, even after it is brought to say a forum and we discuss it, we still should pay scrutiny to when it is being debated and passed. That is what I meant.
yeah, because we haven't reached the point, we haven't reached that point as yet. Where persons, okay, a law is passed and the people may not know anything about it prior. We haven't reached the point where persons get together and go to the street, go down government headquarters and protest and say, hey, look, no, we don't want that.
Yeah.
We don't want that. Just like what had happened in Ukraine just a couple of weeks ago with what the president, if that's the name of his political title, wanted. He brought the law, what he wanted
Yeah,
to
and the
do, bring
people
everything.
protest. Yeah, the people protest.
And, yes.
Yeah.
And he had to go back in court, go back into the house the following day and
Yes.
change it.
Change it.
We have not reached to this point yet because of our political bipartisanship.
Yeah.
And this is what all of them are using on both sides to keep the people divided.
Yeah, but
Keep the people divided.
caller, don't you feel that the
Yes.
people are keeping themselves divided because the people have the power? And this morning on the agriculture show, here was one farmer saying he would have to go and march by himself, and I'm trying to tell him, no, you should not have to march. So it strengthens the point that you're making. Even farmers can't get together and say we've had enough and we want to protest.
Yes, and you know why that is not going to happen? It goes back to politics. Because, there's a split in the middle here. When you hear people talk about things that are not right, it is wrong, it's usually persons who are in the opposition. And in a way, we can conclude and say it's because, as those in the political arena would say, it's because they're not getting what they want. They know what is wrong. They know what should be done, right? But when the table is turned now and their favor gets in, now they're in a position now to benefit from the same system. And the same things that they spoke out against that was wrong in opposition, they now see it as right.
Yeah.
And you listen to all sides when they're in opposition. If anybody has to call out something that is happening, you know what the first thing they're saying? Oh, you're pulling down our government. You talk bad about our government. No, they are the same ones who did it, when they were in opposition.
Yeah.
So there is where we are at right now. And the politicians on all sides, they know that. They know that. You hear them talk about constitutional rights, and this is freedom and in a democracy and whatsoever. But yet you hear if the people want to go to march, they have to get permission first from the police to go to march. I mean, from whence that should happen? If you have that freedom or that constitutional right, people can galvanize themselves and get up and go. The duty of the police then is to ensure that order is maintained. The police is not supposed to be used as a weapon against the people, and they have to seek permission to go and protest. By the time you go to seek permission and protest, they have defeated the whole purpose. Because then the police can control whomsoever can give directives to the police, and they can control the outcome of whatever. That is not a protest.
But Carla, I kind of understand where you would have to apply because we don't want chaos. But here's where I stand.
It doesn't have to be chaotic. It
I
doesn't
agree.
have to be chaotic.
I agree. But here's where I stand on this. I feel this is where the problem comes in. They tell you that you should apply, but they don't tell you it should not be that after you've applied and you say what you're going to do and where your route is going to be, they should not turn you down. Not in a democracy. After they've discussed with you, but this is what they do. This is where I have the problem.
But exactly, you're going to say that is where you have the problem because this is what the outcome will be.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. When the citizens do not agree with a law, if there is unison of purpose, if they remove politics politics out of it, and they tell themselves, hey, look, even if I favor this party, what they are doing is going to affect me, all of us. It doesn't matter who. It's going to affect all of us, and this should be a national issue, a national problem that we need to face head on. Hey, look, we don't agree with this, and together we stand, right? The time you go and you ask permission, this is what is going to happen.
But caller,
So in a way, the whole
point,
purpose is defeated.
caller, the point that you made, for instance, I hear what you're saying, but I still feel that I don't have a problem with you asking for a time when you can march. Because the point that you're making, like what we see happen in France and places in Italy, that usually isn't an organized thing, you know. I hear what you're saying and I agree with you. This is where the people have been saying to the system over and over, we want to speak to you. We want to be able to protest. The system has been ignoring them, and the people get in mass and they don't ask for any time. They just go out and they do what they have to do. And then that is the wake-up call for the system. But when it reaches that point, it has reached an extreme. The government, the system should not allow it to reach there.
But exactly. But that is how it is supposed to happen. Because if it doesn't happen like that, then the system, quote unquote, will not pay attention. They will not pay attention.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't like this idea about having go out and protest or march peacefully. I don't like it. You understand? Protesting or going out to march to hear a grievance does not necessarily mean that it has to be chaotic or violent, unless maybe the opposite. Plant, put their clones in to cause chaos, and then say, you see, those who come out, they are the ones that see they start to destroy. Because this is what will happen too.
Caller, with due respect, it could work on both sides when it comes to that. It could be, as you said, the opposition, but it could also be that there are factions in those who want to do the march who don't care about the people who they're propelling to march, you know. They want something disastrous to happen to meet their ends. So it could work on both sides.
That is true, but then again, that only will happen if you have political bipartisanship. I'm not talking about politics is in this. I'm talking about people, whether they are on this side or that side, and they say, hey, look, this is our country. Whatever decisions I make will negatively affect us and our children to come after. This not have nothing to do with politics. If politics is in it, then this is what we are going to have. But I am not talking about.
And that is the problem, because let me go back. Let me go back to the scenario with the police. Your point is valid. The police is not supposed. The police know what they're supposed to do. The police job is about security. So if it is that the system says apply to the police, and the police are going to tell you, okay, you have the right to use this route, and we're going to make sure security. But then it doesn't stay there. It seems to me that the police then puts it to the politician, and the politician then tells the police, well, no, you don't have that, or push it off to another date. And this is what should not happen. It should be that the police, so I hear what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? But exactly. But when it comes to the demonstration of what they call the people power, well, that thing will happen. And it will not happen once there is this political thing going on. And it is so saddening that you have persons who purportedly are educated people. But as I always say, an educated person does not mean that that person is intelligent.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have something else to say before I go.
But we're 2 minutes. It has to be quick because we're 2 minutes over time.
This is 2 minutes. Yeah, you should be able to get inside of that. A question was asked by Cartensia to the AG when she asked if there are any sustainability zones here in St. Kitts.
Yes.
And the AG said no.
No.
Well, I would like to know, what is their definition of sustainability? What is real? What do they really mean when they say sustainability? Because I am looking at this. How would one categorize the Southeast Peninsula, Kittishan Hill, that whole area down there that they call White Gate, That area up above, I think they had already fenced it. It's a gated community just over Camps area. What they call that area?
I don't
Where they
know.
were supposed to have some houses put down, but only one or two up there with the security and so on. Ramada and all them there. What do they call these areas? And some of the other areas.
That's for
what
them.
do they call them if they are not sustainability, quote unquote, sustainability zones?
That's for
And
them
the
to
next
answer.
thing, when we were told that the marina over the southeastern peninsula was sold, I think they used to have ad out, on social media where they advertise this thing and this, what is to happen over at the marina area and whatever. But if I'm not mistaken, I stand to be corrected. If I'm not mistaken, weren't we told that work was supposed to start over that peninsula shortly? So many jobs were going to come and whatever, but I'm not hearing anything at all right now here about this Southeast Peninsula and the marina. It seems like everything just died down.
Yeah.
We're not hearing anything.
Yeah, well,
Hello?
I said, well, what can I say?
What can we say?
Yeah.
That's correct. Anyways, that's a nice one to end with.
Yeah.
Have a blessed day again.
Okay, you take care.
All right.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by The Grange and Carry Brewery.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped